Everyone, Mutimihome.
Pachawai.
Good evening, everybody.
Good
Thank God for another Wednesday. And the same use the opportunity to and I mean welcome everybody via our line way. So for another one of our Wednesday night prayer meeting. I trust that so far so good. To this point in time. But I still believe prayer is necessary because, as you well know, you be the winter period. You remember, see, I want to start it, but now the unfortunate situation, and also the unfortunate thing is, I want to this year. The coronavirus now is still somehow lingering in our world today. It is starting to increase. So will be a mutie news to send me. You will notice says see infection rate I start to cause rubium. In our death rate so I starting so rise it into situation they can see say is gonna get worse. Now if we as Christians we're seeing these things happening in our lives today, what is our role in all of this? Obibusa said, why is prayer necessary? I didn't think that empire crampono here. Because yasum nyamia, yasi unimbibia, yasum nyamia, he's an all-knowing, a friend of omnipotent, omniscience, and also omnipresent, which means God is all-knowing, he's everywhere, and he sees everything. I didn't think that Nyankopon nim way in I was here a course bomb pie because what is the point? He sees it, he knows our problems. When him the air course we are see you won't see he knows it already. I didn't think I was say ye bomb pie. You see, believe it or not, many Christians when they were my dream, including Seventh-day Adventists, among believers say prayer is necessary. Even some of them even say, I need to cramp on also vampire, and I won't take action. Action is more what is needed now. I will see taking action. Empire there. I say, will be in some people's minds. So empire to say there, if will be a 1% or active, and that's 1% taking action. That's what in some people's mind prayer is. But what we are learning, or what we're going to learn today, is that is not the case. Believe it or not, I've been at a church. I'm sorry, people. I got into an argument with one of the church members. Now, I'm sorry, maybe to say a plan for the year. In the higher strategy, how we're going to achieve the plan. And I'm suggesting that plan, it is important for us to include as part of the plan prayer, as in prayer as the number one list of priorities are. Prayer should be at the forefront. I remember this very clearly. One of the was sorry can't say. Now, empire album, Nyankopon free through beba be ye de ye pese ye no amaye. Sano catch me. And I was really surprised because this is Mecca Seventh-day Adventist Church. This is one of our churches. And I was really surprised because it wasn't something that I was expecting. And believe me, I was new to I was just about to start on my ministerial training at the time. Until I check Accra, nothing I maybe call Babcock until I check Accra. It was kind of say, because that made me feel said, in my mind, prayer was the number one thing that you go to. Not only number one, but it was the first, the middle, and the last. But I don't feel said No, he was a prominent elder. I don't know if he said prayer is not what is needed at every point. Rather, it's action that is needed, that God will not come and do what you must do for you. But you see, we're going to find out something very different today. You see, the truth of the matter is that if you call yourself a child of God, now what Bompire Mekai last week, Openyi Chile Mekai, and said, yeah, what car petrol enim and kobe bia no say si ho keke. That's how a Christian without prayer is. We have keke. There's no power. You can't move. You can't do anything. So, and that is what prayer is to a Christian. To be a Christian, now Mompire, do to say car petrol nim. And that's a car engine enim. Let me put it that way. You're useless. You're just there to occupy space. Because prayer is how we Christians, we tap into the power of God. Yeah, Christians, we are to say, it is a piano. Let me just say an example. Piano, keyboard. Your ball was every day. No. Say, and no see hot car. No, bianco tinaho more. It is just sitting there. It is just a piece of, what do you call it, plastic and electronics and all sorts of things. That's all it is. But the moment Obibe Bono, and then you see the value of it, and I say you appreciate the value of the piano. Also, sorry, the pianist in and I say people are not feeling it as much because there is no music, there is no sound coming to support the singing. So, some are Christians, yeah. So, we obi a wo empire, who say a piano obi anywhere obo. You're just sitting there without any music, without any sound, without any benefits whatsoever. Anyway, Matthew chapter 6, verse 9 and 10. Ohono, Yesu kasembi. Okase, Yesu eka, or now say Yesu my blueprint of prayer. Now, blueprint, no can say, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. That was the blueprint that Jesus gave us on earth when he was here. Or my blueprint, no, kind of say, he was trying to give us an example of what prayer should be like. No, because some say yes, you are the Son of God. No, nyame ankasa. Oba ewiase hano. If he found a need to pray, na ye ayewu ye ewo ponimu. We must have even more greater need to pray. Because Jesus was our primary example on this earth. He laid the blueprint of prayer for us to follow. So, in other words, if we don't pray, Nyankopon desire or war for ewiasino ain't me much true. And I say it cannot come true because the only individuals that are connected to God is us Christians. Yeah, Christophoro. We are the only one that are connected to heaven. Ewiasiforo, they are not connected. They're using their worldly knowledge, they're using their worldly wisdom, and they're failing. Who the hell situation are you in? And you say, oh yeah, some sort of I don't know, your friend is simple. Why yes, various different kind of lockdowns. Just so that they can solve the current crisis are you in. Then you have the economic crisis. Yes, 2.7 million people unemployed. Now, I'm not saying this because my person is scary. I'm saying this because I want you to understand, say, your role as Christians is to pray that God's will be done on this earth. Because if God's will is not done on this earth, ewiase no de ekono enye. Now say ewiase no ko baby a enye, believe me and you, it will affect us also. Maybe not immediately, and I say maybe it will not affect us in a way that will affect people of the world, because it be maybe it will not affect us in that way. But one way or the other, it will affect us. That is why we Christians, it is a need for us to be fully connected to God so that his desire may happen. So what kind of Genesis are? When Nyankopon created yeye nipa no, Genesis say he created us in his image, in his likeness. Although now various scholars, some say likeness, you know, whether it was physical, so Nyankopon wo three the arm they be saying, and I said it was spiritual, our very essence. I don't know, but we know that God created us in his likeness. Now, we're creating, you know, in his likeness, you know, he said something also. He says that we should have what? Dominion over everything on this earth. Dominion is another word for control. Have control over everything on this earth. Into basically, yeah, human being, Nyankopon boy said, so. No boy said so, no. You know, can't say, be who you are seeing, everything in this world I give in your hands, have control of it. So in other words, we are supposed to be what? Representatives. We're supposed to be representatives of God to over the earth. So we are Christiania. The reason, the purpose, which is why God created us. So what kind of Bible now? We're learning, what kind of school this week, and also the previous week, we're learning about education. Now, the purpose of education is not so that you could be able to do mathematics and history and know business and so on. No, that's not the purpose of education as a school can do. True education is to be returned back to our source, our teacher, which is God, to be reconnected to the source. Remember, when Adam was created, he was created perfect. Adam and Eve, they were perfect. Which means that he had the basics in terms of the understanding of science, physics, chemistry, you name it, not here, because and so you have to ask yourself, where is this knowledge from? The knowledge is from God. He created us as representatives over the earth. So it was only for us, in order for us to be representatives, we only have to accomplish that which God can, we can only do that which God can accomplish through us. In other words, to me, only through us, because you're a representative. So about directly to the earth will not be able to cope, because his holiness, his brightness, his power is far over anything that we can cope. Into the best way for him to deal, or for him to talk to individuals, or for him to change circumstances, is through us as Christians, because we are his representative. That the one you're connected to God, how will you be a representative to God here on earth, especially during this time of crisis? During this time when everybody don't know what is going to happen. Nobody knows what is going to happen. So who knew what's going to happen? Yeah, Christian, we Christians, we have the added benefit of having that connection with God, and having that assurance with God, and having that deep peace, inner peace. So now you're Christian, Not the AC will we see. A ma yam shishu na usura. Then I suggest that you reconnect yourself with your maker. Reconnect yourself with God. Because when you reconnect yourself, any fear of what is happening, it be here free, because you have the assurance that your God is your provider. You have the assurance that God will take care of you. And reconnecting, how do you reconnect? Reconnecting is by daily devotion. Devotion, and that's what kind of Bible. Wow. You are praying, having a connection with Him. Imagine so also a relationship with Obi. You have a relationship with, I don't know, your parents. Not day in and day out, text. You don't WhatsApp them. You don't do any social media to connect with them. You don't do anything. No one say, oh, baby. And then you say you have a relationship with your parents. How would that relationship last? It will not last. That relationship will falter. And I said, they fail it because you are not having that communication with your maker. Prayer is us expressing ourselves to God. The word of God is God expressing himself to us. A two-way street. And yet one way, we have to share our burdens with him. We have to share our worries with him. We need to share our atmosphere with him. And when we do, God removes these worries, these burdens, these fears, and he replaces it with peace, inner peace. And this peace, and there was it to be sharing with Iriase, because that is our mission, because we are representatives of God on this earth. We have to be an instrumental. Is playing music. See, instrumental, we're just a piece of wood, electronics, and that's it. But if we are an instrument, and we say we are, because we, as a Christian, you are an instrument of God, then you must play music. Also connected with Nosana, your life will be musical. Every situation I won't be people know say you are peace. Now that peace, which surpasses all understanding. So the word of God says, is a peace that surpasses understanding. Because what we see physically doesn't bother us, because we see beyond the physical. Because the physical, and I say it is under the control of God. And so when we look beyond that, we're able to pass this peace across to individuals. So the question still lies, why is prayer necessary in Yano? Why is prayer necessary? Prayer is necessary because it is the only way the Nyankopon betimi are connected to the world and people in the world in the situations that are happening. Because it is the only way you betimi are having the power that is needed to deal with the situation. And Nyankopon also set the example. He laid the example through Jesus Christ when he was on earth. He prayed constantly, morning, noon, and night. He prayed constantly. All the people that Omaya Nyoma Ewuyase, that is of significance to God, were people of prayer. Martin Luther, the one that brought about the Reformation, or say, so he busy said, yeah. Now he has to accomplish something in 3 hours, they be taken to accomplish something. Now what 3 hours in Kwan left that. Obey use 2 hours of that or their bonfire. Because when him said, with God, little is much. Kitwebi, I would be manyame, and also would be shinyame sano. ebeye bebre ama. Is more than what your strength can do. Prayer is necessary because Yahuodi intimi nye yintimi mfa yinyansanso nye. We can only use the power that God has given us. And I said the power that God will give us when we connect to Him. Inti prayer is necessary. Inti a charge will be ourselves. Say, Ibitmia, si ufie, ye fie, do not forsake the family altar. The family altar, they say, ube fre wabusia for our fie. So far as we're under your roof. And remember, the man, and in some cases, if there's an absence of a man, the mother will be the head, and also the priest. But in most cases, as Ellen White says, the man is the priest of the house. That's the only priest that, and it was said, yes, said, every night you will call the family to the throne of grace. Every night. Wode obiara hyenyamensa, wo yire, wo ma, wo busuafo, wasorefo, every person that you know that is going through challenges, it is your duty as the man of the house, as the priest, to call. And if you fail to do it there, then you are not fulfilling that which God has called you to do. Now, in the absence of a man, obviously, a woman also be to me a priest or priestess can also bring the family to the throne of grace, because God, it is not, he does not discriminate. In fact, so your bema so your ba but Ellen White specifically says, as the man, the priest of the house, you must ensure that the family altar is lit every evening. At this moment, we will go through, to a short season of prayer. Now, the various prayer points, Abba Yamianim. We will for a great awakening over God's children. What do I mean by a great awakening? I mean, Yankupon Emaye Yeshe. He should pour his spirit on us. Acts chapter 2, verse 17 says, and it shall come to pass in the last days, says God, that I will pour out my spirit on all flesh. It says, your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your young men shall see visions. Your old men shall dream dreams. This is something that God has said. And I strongly believe says we will come true. What's the starting point? We have to join the world church. The church as a whole. We're praying for a revival such as this. And we are no exception. We have to join the world in praying for this revival. And see, at this moment, let's say, say, God, prayer for a great awakening. So, Yankupon, one kind of shit. Meaning, say, my kind of writer, one kind of shit. Say, the old kind of baby shit, say, Abomu, one kind of shit, baby says, one kind of shit, one revival. Now, you're hot for him. Until Nipa Bako, ever bo, eno, amaya. Any person can pray.